What's up, guys? Welcome back to another edition of the MMA Huddle here with Will and John as we're about to break down UFC Philadelphia with Edson Barboza and Justin Gaethje as a main event. A couple of little things before we start. If you see me running away during this, it's probably because I'm going to shit myself. Just hands up. I've been ill since Thursday. I caught a bug off the little woman, my little daughter, and she's passed on. So I've not been in the best of spots. And inside with that, I've not managed to watch all the footage that I would like to by this point, usually in a week. So yeah, take that with a pinch of salt. And like I say, if I'm running away with my hand over my arsehole,
I mean, I was going to say, pinch of salt and a pinch of toilet paper.
yeah, uh, just keep your eyes averted if that does happen. So yeah, coming off UFC Nashville with Anthony Pettis managing to knock out Wonderboy Thompson. Unbelievable knockout. I did not see it coming. I'm the biggest Pettis fan. To be fair, before that, he was taking a fair ton of
lit up.
He was getting lit up a little bit as well. So, but when he pulled that through, I lost my shit. I was in my bed and jumped out, and it's most action I've kind of had in 3 days, to be fair. So, shout out to Anthony Pettis for doing that. Like, comment, subscribe. We're gaining some nice sub numbers every week now, which is always appreciated. Again, if you disagree with any of mine or John's picks, let us know. Tell us the reason for your picks. If you have any bets, or just anything you really want to talk about, just drop them in the comment box, and we'll get back to you as soon as we can. But this is I actually think is a good card. Like I said, I've not managed to watch all the fights I wanted to, like I usually do. But looking at it, I think it's a solid fight card with good fights throughout the card. So, coming off another bumper weekend of MMA, John, how are you doing? And are you looking forward? Well, that's a silly question. Of course, you're looking forward to the main event and some of the other fights we have in this card.
Yeah, like I said, well, there's actually in the early prelims, there's some interesting bouts as well as through the card. So it's a couple of spots to look out for on this. So I'm actually looking forward to this one. Look at Josh Emmett against Michael Johnson. That's gone right under the radar. I'm telling you, people are not even mentioning that, and that is a fun fight for the featherweights. That's going to be a belter. Yeah. But yeah, man, I'm thoroughly enjoying this. And obviously KSW was on at the weekend too, so anyone who didn't get a chance to watch it, I do always say check their pay-per-views out. £9, I think, is something like that it works out at.
Yeah, I think it's nine pounds over here, and it's like $10 in America, which is absolutely zilch. So
it's nothing, yeah. And that's probably just about what you've lost in the past few days, about £9. But
yeah. So the more I actually watch KSW, the more I really want to go to an event in Poland. It might be something I have to look at.
Together then. If you're going to go, I'm going. Yeah. I want to go as well. That's my goal.
There was actually a couple of lads. Farrell went to it this week.
Yes. Because Norman Park was fighting, yeah.
Yeah, so fair play. Like it's something every time I watch an event, it's something that I really want to go and see. So it might be something maybe we need to talk about later on this year and see what's going on, and maybe go over to Poland and watch one of those big events that KSW put on. So first fight we're going to start off with. This one's not really got a placement on the card as yet because Alexa Grasso pulled out. Jessica Aguilar has come in, but we're going to start off with Jessica Aguilar against Marina Rodriguez. And John, I'll let you take the lead in this.
Yeah, I'm going to be early out the blocks here, and I'm going against Jessica Aguilar. I'm going to pick Marina to win this fight. I just think Jessica Aguilar is the veteran, as we all know. She's a smart fighter, but time does catch up on people. And I don't know how much further she can keep going in the game. And not from a disrespectful point of view, but just from... Marina Rodriguez, she's no slouch. She's got legit skills in her own skill set. She's got good hands, good striking. So Jessica has to incorporate a wrestling game in this one. I don't think she can afford to stand in front of her. Because I think Marina will just have the far better result with the striking exchanges. I think she'll land the heavier shots. We've seen Jessica Aguilar, she does tend to, I say swell up, it sounds weird that, but she seems to mark up more predominantly than other women do. Some people have that. It's weird that some people, when you punch them, some people might bruise a bit more than others. Some people swell. Some get markings that are more. And from a judging perspective, you can see on Jessica's face sometimes it looks like she's had a lot more damage done. And I think Marina could definitely do that. So I'd expect Jessica to come out of the blocks, exchange for a bit, realise that it's not going to be her night on that exchange and on the feet, and try to get the grappling down and get on top just to score out the rounds. But I do see it. Marina, she'll be on the back a couple of times, but I see Jessica losing this decision, 30-27, or even a 29-28, but I don't see her winning the fight. I think Marina's going to get the win with the striking on the feet, land enough damage, so that if it does go to the ground, which I think it will once or twice, that Jessica just won't get enough out of the grappling exchange on the ground. I don't think she'll get enough done on top. Marina might stall out, but I'm going to go, mate, decision win for Marina.
Yeah, I'm with you, Marina, here. I think that Jessica's going to want to grapple. Like the thing is with Randa Marcos in the first fight that Marina had with her, Randa's known for starting really quick and getting takedowns early, but then kind of abandoning the game plan and not going back to her grappling. Last night she did that and it worked straight from the get-go. She got that armbar and got a 50k bonus out, so shout out to Randa Marcos for that.
No.
But Jessica Aguilar's not been the same fighter she was before her UFC tenure. She's completely... She was recognised as probably the number one strawweight in the world for a long time when she was in the World Series of Fights. But since she's come into the UFC, she's absorbed a lot of damage. She's taken a shit kicking in a couple of fights there. And especially that one against Weili Zhang, where she got tied up, she got busted up, and then she just got stopped. I think it was in the first round there actually as well. So Marina's going to want to stand with her. She's going to know that Jessica's going to want to take her down. If she can stop those takedowns, she's going to pick her apart in the feet. But even Jessica, if Jessica gets her to the ground, I think she can keep her there, but I think Marina can maybe find ways to get back to her feet. I just think on the feet Marina's going to do the business here. I don't think Jessica's going to get her down. The thing as well, even if you get her down, you seen what Courtney Casey did off her back there. She wasn't even it was weird because Jessica Aguilar wasn't jumping into her guard, but she was staying on the outside while Casey was on her back, and she was taking a lot of damage from kicks off from Casey. So that's something I always think that if you're facing Jessica Aguilar, you need to kind of do as well. I like Marina Rodriguez. I'm going to pick her pretty comprehensively. I think 30-27 in that one there. Moving on to two guys who used to fight in the flyweight division, which by the looks of it might be sticking around, maybe because this whole TJ situation. Alex Perez, Mark De La Rosa, interesting fight. I saw the line in this one just before we come on. I think Perez is a massive, massive favourite, and I'm not too sure he should be as big a favourite as that personally. We've seen that he pretty much got knocked out twice against Joseph Benavidez last time out.
How bad was that?
Yeah, that's a big step up though. I mean, he did
really well. Yeah, it was a big step. Yeah.
Benavidez is a massive step up in that division. Nobody gets an easy. The only person I think that's got an easy Joseph Benavidez fight was Sergio Pettis. And the only reason I'm saying that is because Joseph was off, I want to say, for 18 months with a really bad injury. He looked rusty. When you watch that fight back, he did not look like the same Joseph Benavidez we've seen, obviously, in the Perez fight and other fights in the past. But Perez is a strong guy. Obviously got some punching power, got some really good submissions, got some good grappling. But I think De La Rosa is a really crafty kind of vet himself. I don't think he's an easy out here at all for Alex Perez. And I've seen some people super high on Perez in this spot, and I can see why. Because really, I think it's the step up in competition for De La Rosa as well, but I think he's got enough about him to actually make the fight close. And if he can do that, the thing is here as well, I think the size advantage is going to be in Perez's side. He used to struggle to make 125. There's a couple of times I think he missed weight. So he's going to have the size advantage here, so maybe going to 135. Like we've seen with these people, I think we need to kind of shut up about people fighting at fighting at lower weight classes. I think everybody can see now that if you fight at a natural weight class, you're going to win fights, and you can win fights in vicious fashion, like we've seen with Masvidal, like we've seen with Pettis. And I know people are going to go and say Pettis got lucky, da da da, and I've seen it already today. But he's still the one that threw that punch and he knocked out the bigger guy. I think Wonderboy is going to be even better if he goes to 185. I think he's going to be a puzzle for guys up there. But getting back to this one here, I like Perez just a little bit more. I think his strength's going to be a big factor at 135, especially in this matchup here. He has to be careful if he takes it to the ground because De La Rosa, I think, is a black belt, if I remember right.
He is a ninja.
Yeah, he's decent on the ground. He's got a fair amount of wins with triangle chokes and rear naked chokes and so on. That's his kind of bread and butter. But I just think that Perez he's got a really kind of explosive game and he can kind of keep going. This is a fight I'm actually going to watch a little bit more on tomorrow when I get a bit of opportunity because I think it's an interesting one. I think the line should be closer. Sorry, but I'm going to pick Perez in a close decision though.
Perez in a close decision. I think this is going to be a cracking fight, bro. Honestly, I love this matchup. They're both hard-nosed guys, and De La Rosa, he likes to put pressure on, likes to come forward, because he's got, like you said, the grappling background, like that kind of in his back pocket. So that's why you'll see with Mark, he doesn't mind coming forward and swinging, because he's like, take me down, bro, let's do it. Oh, he's scared. So he's got that in his pocket. But then again, Perez, we've seen what Perez could do. Like even in the Joseph Benavidez fight, him and Youssef were throwing at the start of that fight. And I know obviously he got cracked because Youssef had the higher fight IQ to figure out the movement, the angle, to cut across, to get those shots landing, to really get the fight finished. But if you watch that back, Alex was cracking. Like he was hitting Youssef. And Youssef wasn't too keen on a few of them shots that landed. And so I think we're going to see an absolute kind of brawl here. I think the two of these dudes are going to come at each other. And it's neither one are going to really want to back down. So I'm absolutely ecstatic to see these two swinging out. I'm so excited. It's going to kick the card off. You know, this is really going to set the tone for the card. But I'm going to go with, man, I think it's going to say standing though. Because I think De La Rosa is going to have a hard time getting Perez down. Because I think Perez wants to keep it standing. And I like you say, Perez will be happy at 135. You know, he'll be healthier, fitter. You know, even probably Mark De La Rosa as well. Be the same kind of the pair of them will probably have a bit more about them. I'm going to go Perez slight. I'm going to go 29-28. But Mark De La Rosa is so live because anything like a scramble, he can whip in a guillotine. Anything like small, he can jump on the back. He's really a kind of competent fighter. I just think Perez will want to kind of make a statement on his way back after that loss to Benavidez, especially at bantamweight. Be interesting to see how Perez does, and I think he might actually find it's a more suitable weight class for him at 135.
Yeah, good fight. Like I said, I think it's a really well-matched fight. Moving on, Marina Moroz against Sabina. Mazo is making a UFC debut with a little bit of a kind of hype there.
There is. I can understand why.
Yeah, how do you see it going?
Man, like Mazo, the problem is she had a few fights quick, and she had a couple of highlight finishes, head kicks. Yeah. And the issue is she's only 20 still. I think it is. She's green. She's really green. So I think she's got a chance though in this fight. I'll be honest with you. I think she can actually win this fight. I think her striking is a lot cleaner than Mariana's. I think like Mariana's fight against Angela Hill, for example, as long as you've got a bit of speed and you throw combinations at Maryna, she doesn't actually... I think what happens with girls is now, like, she came in, had that short notice fight, got the win over JoJo, because JoJo's in a bad place. And since then, there's nothing really that stood out. Mazo is going to find that Maryna doesn't crack hard. She doesn't crack that hard. As soon as someone finds out you don't crack hard, their respect is out the window and they just come forward. Angela Hill found that. She was getting hit, but it was never enough to deter Angela Hill from wanting to just keep coming with the combinations. And one good thing about Sabina is she throws combinations and throws leg kicks or some form of kick quite often at the end of most combinations. So she's always throwing kind of dangerous strikes afterwards. So she's lighting you up upstairs with the hands and then ripping into the legs. One thing a bit with Mariana is if you can slow her down, the leg kicks, big factor. And Mazo's going to use that head kick. That's her thing. She's not bad at setting up, to be fair, and she does possess some power. Like there was one of the ones she did. I think it was Phillips, the girl she was fighting. Oh gosh, I might get that wrong, but I think it was Phillips. She landed the head kick earlier on in the round, and the girl ate it like nothing. But then later on in the round, a few more exchanges, caught it again, and then that was it. So she obviously has got a bit of pop in the head kick. Maybe not as much as she'd like, but we'll see what she does here. I think Sabina is going to outstrike her and land more. I think Marina's tough enough to take a bit of a kicking, but yeah, man, I'm going Sabina here, man. I'm going decision win, man. Decision win.
Yeah, Moroz is just not. She's not good in the eye, really. I don't think she's very low volume, very low output. She lands just over 3 strikes a minute. I was just looking at her striking for the last 3 fights, and she's landed like 80 strikes in 3 fights. That's low output. And one of those fights actually was against Angela Hill, where she landed. In fact, let me see. Her last 3 fights, 50, so 130 strikes.
How many actually landed? Yeah, she's like Kuku, isn't she?
84 strikes landed in the Angela Hill, so very low output in the Esparza fight, very low in the Daniel Taylor fight. She's, like I say, she's not dangerous. I think if her and Jojo were to run it back, Jojo would run over her. There was a whole shit ton of stuff going on in Jojo's life at that point. Yeah. But the people that everybody that's she's beat, not in the UFC, and I just don't think she's that great at fight. I think this Sabina's, like I say, she's very young, but I think her caliber opponents that she's faced aren't particularly great. But what she's been 25 minutes 2 times. That's not a bad thing to have at this point in your career. Is time in the cage. I know I've seen people say she's only 6-0, but she's had like 50 minutes in her last 2 fights. That you can learn a lot in that kind of space of time. The only 2 fights I've seen is her 2 head kick wins. And when you watch those fights, especially the Jamie Thornton one, that Jamie Thornton was just asking to get head kicked. She was coming in there, angling off, and just inviting the right head kick, and she got caught with it a couple of times, and then the time she got caught clean with it, she was put to sleep. Like I say, there's a lot of stuff ready to come with Mazo. I like the fact she went to King's MMA. To be fair, Marina Moroz went to American Top Team, so she'll be getting probably the best sparring she's ever had. But I just don't think it's going to change her game plan. I don't know. I'd be interested to see what her game plan is here, to outstrike Mazo. I think Mazo can mix in leg kicks, maybe into clinch positions. I actually just think she'll just outwork Moroz, because Moroz has got such a low output. So I'm going to go Sabina Mazo via a decision. It could get squirrely if maybe those jitters get to her or whatever, but I'll take Mazo in a decision here. Moving on, Borg against Kyler Phillips. Hand up, I've not did any tape study on Kyler Phillips. I kind of remember him from the James Gray fight James Gray fight from the Dana White Contender Series, where he won that in the first round. A guy who comes from the MMA lab. So you know those guys that come from kind of legit camps are fairly decent. He's got good sparring, good people to train with there. Like I say, this is another fight tomorrow I'm going to do a little bit more on. Borg moving up to bantamweight. Looks like he's got some of those personal problems put to the side, which is incredible. We've not seen him in... Is it really a year and a half we've not seen this guy?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
He might have faced Joseph Benavidez and had to pull out.
Oh, wow. Moreno. He was supposed to face Moreno in April. And then Benavidez in November.
Yeah.
And he was supposed to face Peng Lu, who pulled out, but Kyler Phillips has come in. That's crazy. I don't think it was as long as that. But like I say, the guy's had the worst luck kind of personally. So, and everybody's on his side with that. Interesting to see him up in bantamweight. I think he's going to be really, really good up there. But like I say, I'll probably edge Borg, because I think across all the aspects, he's probably just better than Kyler Phillips, and more experience, more UFC experience, probably better on the ground. Maybe striking wise, I think he might be Kyler's best way to kind of win the fight. I'll pick Borg, but like I say, that's a fight I've not really looked into all that much, except for one fight from Borg, which was the Shane Howell fight from 2014. That's the only one I looked at. But I'll pick Borg right now. I'll leave it to someone in John who's probably watched more than I have at this point.
Well, Borg is a great example to look at because obviously lost with Demetrius Johnson, right? Okay, not a problem. Everyone has. But obviously since then he's had the personal problems, but he's also had time to let his body heal. When you think about it, you know. And he's also not cutting down at 125, so he's had maybe a bit of time to strengthen up, cure some aches and pains, which we don't think of too much when we think about fights and trainers, but it's a huge thing, you know. So we might see a Borg that is a bit more loose, a bit more fluid. He has a bit, you know, he might have had a better fight camp because of this. And, you know, he's at 125, he was a beast. He was strong, powerful dude. At 135, I still think it's going to be the same thing. He's going to be strong. He's probably actually going to have a bit more of an output at 135 because he'll have a bit more in that gas tank and energy. So I'm actually expecting Kyler Phillips to try and use footwork to stay away from Borg because Kyler Phillips is good on good striking. He's a powerful dude. He can hit hard in that weight for his weight. You know, dudes get caught sometimes when they come near him. He has got good hands, good footwork with the kicks. But I think Borg he mixes up his combinations to takedowns really well. Borg. That's one of the things about Borg I really enjoy. It's his fluidity from striking to takedowns. And like you said before, Will, it's a big step up this. I know Kyler's stepping in, but it's a big step up. Borg, like, he is no joke. And Phillips, he won the Dana White contender, went away, lost a couple, I think it was decisions. He lost 2 decisions and he won 1 and then came back. It's still a big ask to beat Borg, you know. But Borg as well, you know, like you said, he's got that fire in him. You know, he's got a reason to win because this stupid sport, especially with the UFC, or you know, they give you half a purse. If you fight, you get half a purse. If you win, you get a full purse. So Borg's got that extra zip and zest to want to get that win. You know, to get that win, show money as well as, you know, and hopefully. Obviously, I'm sure he'll try and get a 50, and Dana White might accidentally give him a 50k bonus. By the way, the UFC should just pay for the medical bills because they're a multi-billion-dollar company. But what are we? We're just, you know, Borg's just a cash cow for them. But yeah, I think Borg, mate. Phillips has got good striking. He's not bad with the grappling aspect, but I think Borg's just going to outwork him, man. Borg's got a fantastic array of grappling, striking to grappling exchanges, and you know, especially he'd be a good one. Borg's a good one for your DraftKings, I would say, because he does offer so much, and he does so much in 3 rounds. He's just like, he is so high paced. I'm going to go Borg decision, mate.
Right. No, it's a good fight. I'm looking forward to seeing Borg. I honestly did not think it was as long as that since he fought. But yeah, props to him. Hopefully everything's personal life's all sorted out and trying to kind of get back to normal. So yeah, moving on. Kevin Holland, Gerald Meerschaert. Yeah, good fight. I don't know. Is it me? You go.
Me, bro. Because I just went. Yeah, it is a good fight because I feel like Kevin Holland's finally getting a chance to have a suitable bout at middleweight. Does that make sense? Because like he had one fight and that was against who get the submission on? Jack. Was it Jack or was that Darren?
John Phillips.
John Phillips. Sorry, there you go. And let's be honest. I think everyone other than Jack Marshman will do what Kevin Holland would do to. Everyone would just take John Phillips down, submit him if John Phillips was to fight again in the UFC. It's just a logical thing to do, really. It's just easy enough. It's just the easier option. He showed that he's he can take a bit of a pounding, and I don't mean that way, with Santos. But then again, that's something that Gerald and Holland have in common. They've both lost to the Beast, and I think they're both happy that he's not in the 185 division anymore. Gerald, way more experienced, way smarter fighter. Gerald just has to come off the mark a bit quicker. You know, I think that he needs to just be a bit quicker off from the get-go. I feel like sometimes he just kind of waits to get in the rhythm of the fights, and that causes him to lose fights. I think that he starts at a certain pace, and he's then, when someone comes in at a higher pace, he's trying to play catch-up, but it doesn't quite work for him. it's a hard fight for Gerald, this one. No, because Kevin, I don't think Kevin's no joke. I think Kevin's offers some good skill set. But I am going to pick Gerald. But Kevin's very alive. Kevin, strong, powerful guy, can take a few shots, can take a couple of punches in the face, etc. I just think that all round, though, as a martial artist, Gerald Meerschaert is far more creditable. Like, he's got good submissions. His striking game's not bad. He can take some hits. I'd probably go with the more experienced guy in Gerald Meerschaert. I think he's a fantastic fighter. I just think hopefully he can put it all together. I know he lost his last bout, but the co-main event, Jack Hermansson. I just feel that maybe he can get this win out the way now, especially with Pettis winning and everything. So kind of momentum from the club and the gym. But Kevin Holland's a dangerous dude. I think he's live, 100% live in this fight, and I would not be shocked if he won this fight. But I'm going to go Gerald. I'm going to submission with Gerald, man. I think he can maybe get a sneaky submission in, maybe like a guillotine or something from a takedown by Kevin. But I'm going to go submission win for Gerald.
Yeah, Rufus Sport went 5-0 over the weekend, so they're on a little bit of run as well. So Paul Felder winning, and it looks like that Macy Barber said she's going to be spending a lot more time at Rufus Sport. So interesting times ahead for that, Jim. I like Kevin Holland here. I like him a lot. I think that Kevin Holland, to me, is the guy, when I first watched him, I initially thought, I don't really like you talk too much. And I'm one of these guys that kind of doesn't really like that. But I think when he realises he's got a tough opponent, he stops that. He did it against Thiago Santos, and he did it for the whole 15 minutes because Thiago was pretty much beating on him and having his way with him. With kind of John Phillips, he was up early, and he was taking a couple of shots, unnecessary shots that he probably shouldn't have taken, but he always knew he was ahead, and he kind of kept on talking. And I think that's something that he could maybe get to Meerschaert here now. And saying that, Meerschaert's, this is probably going to be, is it fight number 40 for this guy?
600, I think it is.
Yeah. Gerald's been in a lot of fights, and a lot of promotions, and he's fought good guys outside of the UFC as well, who are now in the UFC. Very dangerous on the ground. There's been a couple of times where I've not wrote off, but maybe underestimated Jeremy Meerschaert. The Oscar Pihota fight was one I was super confident in Oscar, and he got submitted, and he's a guy who is very dangerous with his grappling game. I think on the feet, he's not as dangerous. You just have to mind your P's and Q's, where I think Kevin Holland uses distance well, uses the teep well, keeps you at distance well, has a ground game. He showed that in the John Phillips fight, and saying that John Phillips can be taken down super easy. But I don't think Kevin Holland will want to do that here, because if you go to the ground with Gerard, you could be caught with something. So I think that he keeps us standing. I think he pieces him up a little bit. That's kind of how I'm seeing it. If it goes to the ground, I think he's got enough to contend with Meerschaert, but I just don't think he should go to the ground with him. I think you're taking away his best opportunity to win the fight. And saying that, he did TKO Eric Spicer with a body kick, so he's got some ammunition on the feet if he uses it. I just think that Kevin Holland's more varied. I think he's got more tools in his arsenal, more tools in his tool belt, I should say. And I just fancy him in this fight. I think he actually might get a late stoppage in this one. I think Gerard, when he kind of loses those type of fights, he gets stopped, especially in the UFC with the high caliber opponents. And I think for me, Kevin Holland's going to win a lot of fights in the UFC. I think he's going to lose a few here and there, but I think he's going to win a lot, and I think this is one he'll win here. So I'll go an early third round TKO for the big mouth Kevin Holland. Moving on, this is a great fight, by the way. Enrique Barzola, Kevin Aguilar. Now, if you've been listening to The Huddle for however long we've been around now, you've seen that I'm a big fan of Enrique Barzola, and love the progression he's making in his game. He went to American Top Team, and that is, in my opinion, the greatest MMA team we've got in the game. I think they just do any fights. And
not just in the UFC either, but that's the good thing about them.
Everywhere. Yeah. And he's just turned into a really solid fighter. Lost that fight to Bochniak, but since then, the progression with his game, he's got so confident in his striking now, that he doesn't really have to grapple as much, and his grappling is definitely his strong suit. And I still think it's something he should do more of. I still think in a couple of fights he struck too much, especially with like Brandon Davis, who is predominantly a
Yes.
striker.
Yeah.
He's striking. He just he striked a little bit too much in that fight for my liking. I think if he was to get takedowns, he could have maybe got a finish. That's the one thing that's kind of not good in his record, is the fact that he doesn't finish many fights. But over the space of 15 minutes, he does enough to win a lot of fights. So, but he's facing an absolute dog here in Kevin Aguilar, who really impressed me in his UFC debut because he had a really tough fight in Rick Glenn, who is a
Yes.
big veteran of the sport, hard guy to look good against. Went in there and just really kind of had a bit of a brawl with Rick Glenn and come out the other side, winning that one. Super impressed with him. Outstruck him on the feet. Looked dangerous. And that's something I think he has the advantage on the feet. I think he has to know that Barzola's going to want to strike here. Not strike, grapple. Take him down. I think not. But in saying that, Barzola's maybe fell in love with his striking that much that he's going to want to strike Aguilar, which I don't think is his best way to path to victory here. I'm kind of seeing this as being super close, and it's all depending on the game plan of what Barzola wants to do. Because if he can get takedowns and establish his takedowns, then I think that's going to be enough to win him the fight. But honestly, I feel more confident in Aguilar, and I'm a big fan of Barzola. I like what I see from him. But I just think that Kevin Aguilar could really make this a dogfight. I think if it stays standing, he is the more well-rounded striker. I think he hits harder. But I think, and then again, if he establishes early with his striking, then you have to expect Barzola to go to that grappling that he's got, and he has got great grappling. I feel more confident siding on the Aguilar side right now. I can tell you right now, this is going to be one of these fights I flip-flop all week on. But two guys with really good records. I'm going to go with Angel of Death to win via a really close split decision. But honestly, put my hand up, that could be one that I by the time we get to Wednesday, Thursday, that Barzola could be the one that I like a little bit more. But Aguilar, for me, is the pick.
And this is, again, bro, one of the great fights on the lowest
Limbs,
part of
yeah.
the card. Do you know what I mean? It's
Good fight.
I think this fight's going to go under the radar. And I bet if you look at this week, folks, on social media, you will not see that many people mention this fight. But it is a disgustingly good fight. Yeah, I worry. I know what you mean with Barzola, because I think he's so confident in his grappling that he can just freely strike as much as he wants, because he's not got he's so confident in not getting taken down, or if he were to get taken down, he's that confident he can bounce up quite quickly, and it is a danger. And Kevin Aguilar is a vet. You know, he's a very experienced fighter in the MMA game. You know, if people don't know who Kevin Aguilar is, he's on the regional scene for a while. Bad dude. You know, he's a bad man, but talented dude. Like, say, Rick Glenn is really awkward, you know, because Rick Glenn's got this like weird kind of movement, jittery kind of timing. Kevin just kind of stuck to his game, didn't work to Glenn's, didn't try to figure Glenn out, just did his own thing, and it came off well. I think Enrique, as long as he listens to his corner, he should be fine. They'll have a game plan, and as long as he can stick to it, I think he should be absolutely golden. Because like you say, Will, if he just strikes for 3 rounds, I can't see how he thinks he's going to outstrike Kevin Aguilar. I just can't see how he thinks that'll work. I think he'll strike a bit too much, but I can't see him not getting takedowns in and just doing the standard bread and butter. Get him down, pin him down, stay on top for a minute or two, even if either till the round ends or until Aguilar can maybe get up, and just do that each round. Don't try to knock out Kevin Aguilar because he's a tough dude. Don't try to, because you can fall into the trap of gassing out. You know, you're trying to blow all that energy out, just trying to finish Kevin Aguilar. And Kevin's just a tough guy, you know. He's been in bloody fights and he keeps standing. He somehow can tough out those rough fights. I'm going to go Barzola. It's going to be a hard one to pick because I think both of these dudes are so talented in both separate fields, and I think it's such a great fight. Man, I hate doing that. But yeah, I'm going to pick Barzola this time. decision. But mate, when I first watched when I watched Kevin's footage, I went, "Oh, Kevin's gonna get this." But then again, you watch Barzola. Well, I'll be the same. I'll be hopefully one of the misses wait. I'll be like, okay, I'll change my mind now. But yeah, I'm stuck. It's horrible, isn't it?
Good fight, really, really, really good, solid fight, good matchmaking. Moving on, I think this is going to be the main fight of the prelims by the looks of it. England's Ross Pearson against Desmond Green here. Interesting fight. I'm still surprised Ross Pearson's sticking around in the UFC. How do you see it going?
Man, I'm still astounded that Ross Pearson is allowed to fight in the UFC still. Like, why are you keeping him in there? He is... Why to keep him in? It's a waste of time. He hasn't bothered to evolve as a fighter. He's not going to ever win the title. He's never going to get in the top 15 again. It's probably his last fight, this, to be honest with you. I would be shocked if he didn't retire after this, because he should have retired after his last one. But, yeah, anyway. So, Ross Pearson, really simple to sum him up. He likes to stand, throw punches and kicks. Really compact, and keeps quite strict to kind of kickboxing style. That's Ross Pearson in a nutshell. Not great at defending takedowns, not very good when you get on top of him. There you go, simple. Des Green offers some good striking options. You know, he's long, likes like a kind of spearing jab and strikes and punches. Wrestler. Desmond Green is a good wrestler. But that's his go-to. Like, he used that outside the UFC, and I think he hasn't used it as much as he should. And Desmond Green is a good wrestler. I'm glad he's staying at 155, and he should just simply win this fight by doing the basics of going in, taking down Ross Pearson when Ross throws a combination, and then just staying on him for the round, and then doing the same in the second round, and then do the same in the third. And if in those 3 rounds you get an opportunity to finish him. But if not, just tie him up for 3 rounds, and I've got to admit, not uber excited about this fight. I was absolutely flabbergasted when it got made, so I'm going to go Desmond Green decision, because all you have to do is just take Ross Pearson down. Really simple way to beat him. It's not rocket science.
Yeah, I'm with you. This is fight number 30 in the UFC for Ross Pearson. Surely that can't be right.
There must be. How has he been allowed to fight that long?
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. I know. No, it's minutes.
Will's trying to count.
In the mid-20s, though. And that's still a lot, and there's a lot of L's, especially recently.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Hard to pick Ross Pearson. Like, we were speaking about this before we come on, and it's like, I've just got the slightest feeling that this fight's going to be a lot closer than what I actually think a lot of people think it's going to be. There's obviously ways to victory for Desmond Green here. Is he going to use them, though? That's my kind of inkling on things here. I think you've seen the way to beat Ross Pearson was when he fought in Glasgow, and like, you probably actually seen it before then. Evan Dunham just baited him into one to strike. Of course, Ross Pearson's going to want to strike, and as soon as he came forward, he was just there to be countered with takedowns all day long. And we've seen that again since. We've seen Trinaldo take him down. We've seen Masvidal get him down occasionally, Will Brooks. But not as much as you would think. Like, he's had close fights, obviously, with Stevie Ray, which I thought Steve actually kind of won that across the 3 rounds. I thought he was a bit more... I think he made it closer than he had to, pretty much. I don't know why I've got this feeling for Ross Pearson in this card. I really don't. But there's no way I'm going to pick him, because it's just... I've not seen enough in the last 5 years to pick him, because all he wants to do is strike. There's nothing else there to him. So, and he can get out volume. Like, people like John McDessie out-volleyed him like a lot in his last fight. Hirota was a guy who was fading badly the later round of that fight, and he just kept on going and kind of picked him apart. I'm going to go Desmond Green, but this is me assuming that he's going to use takedowns. Now, if he doesn't use takedowns, then Ross Pearson could be live on the feet. But Desmond Green is a big dude as well. I don't know what the size difference is between these guys. Maybe it's not as big as I actually kind of think it is. Let me see. 5'10", so he's a little bit bigger. got a 4-inch reach advantage, and he has the southpaw, obviously. I'll go Desmond Green, but this is me assuming that he uses takedowns in this fight, and if he uses takedowns, I think a 30-26 could be on the cards for this fight if he uses it. I'm not too confident that he uses it, though. That's the thing. So I'll go Desmond Green via decision, though. Oh, what a great fight this is to start the main card, by the way.
Oh, yes.
Oh my God. Sheymon Moraes against Sodiq Youssef. This is a banger. This tells you a lot about where the UFC see Sodiq, and probably Sheymon Moraes as well, because he's a guy that I speak on every time he has a fight here. I like this guy a lot. I like the way he fights. He picks his shots very well, and he's dangerous with his shots. And he's had some good wins. His last 2 wins, Julio Arce, that
fight, that cut.
Yeah.
Oh my word. Ooh.
Yeah. Even the Zabit loss wasn't a bad loss. I know he kind of got he got outworked, and he kind of took a little bit of a beating in that one, but he never gave up, and he landed some great counter strikes.
Was that his UFC debut?
It was, yeah. Zabit was his
UFC debut. That.
Yeah. Even in the World Series of Fights, he was always fighting half decent guys. I mean, Palomino, Marlon Moraes that he lost to in the 3rd round there, so he was facing good guys.
Yeah.
So that shows you where the people kind of put this guy. Really dangerous fighter. One thing I think, if he had a little bit more output, I think he'd be very dangerous, like to a lot of the kind of bigger guys in that division. But his output really does wane as the fight goes on. He's more of a counter striker. That he really doesn't. Let me see. Significant strikes is 2.76 a minute. That's not a lot, but when the strikes that he does hit you with are big strikes, big body kicks, big leg kicks, nice calf kicks. He's one of those guys that can attack the calves. But I do think he can wane, and like Matt Sales in that fight in the 3rd round came into it, Julio Arce came into it. What I like about Sodiq Youssef is there's a lot to like about Sodiq Youssef. Let's put it that way. Yeah. We've seen that he absolutely blasted one of the trash can brothers, the Mokhtarian brothers, down in Australia back in December, and he did that with his brother dying, I think, on fight week. Was it fight week? I think I want to say it was.
Yeah, quite close. Yeah, I think it was. Yeah.
That takes some doing, by the way. Jeez, but then when you go back and watch his fights, like the fight that I take a lot from, and he's lost out there, the Titan FC fight against, I think, Luis Gomez.
Yeah.
He was controlling that fight. Gomez was wanting nothing on the feet. He was clinching on for dear life, and then he went for like an arm drag, and he face planted.
Yeah, really weird, wasn't it? It's the weirdest loss.
Weird.
Proper mental.
Face planted, and then got followed up with a couple of shots and lost the fight. That's the only blemish he's got on his record. Fights, he's got a massive leg kick. He's got a massive right hand. It's very fast and it's so powerful, and it stays throughout the whole entire fight. Really good cardio, controls the fight. And where I noticed this was in the Mike Davis fight in the Dana White Contender Series. He had his back to the cage predominantly for one of the rounds, but he was controlling every I don't want to say aspect of the fight, but he was controlling when he was going to strike by the movements he was making. So he was just controlling every aspect of that round and what the next step was going to be in that exchange. So he's very good at using that power to obviously push forward, but also when his back's against the cage, he controls the fight. So, and like, you cannot let your guard down with this guy at all. The guy's a freak. No. The guy's got some serious power, and he showed that against Mokhtarian, and let's not be around the bush. That's not a big win in his career. He's going to fight bigger and better guys, and he's fighting a big step up here in Sheymon Moraes. Like I say, initially my lean was Sheymon Moraes, but after watching those fights today of Sodiq Youssef and the way he controls some of his fights, he's going to be a hard guy to beat. I think you have to have some big attributes to beat this guy, like big power like he has, or a really solid wrestling game, like a really legit wrestling game. I wanted to pick Sheymon Moraes, don't get me wrong, but Sodiq Youssef to me really impresses me. I would be surprised. Would I be surprised? Because I rate Moraes very highly, so maybe not as big a surprise So some other people who are really super confident in Youssef, and I can see why. I'm going to pick him. I actually think I'm going to pick him via third round stoppage. Moraes doesn't get stopped by bad guys. He gets stopped by Zabits, Marlon Moraes. So this guy, if he goes out there and stops someone like Sheymon, that's a big thing to have on your record, especially a second UFC fight as well. I'm going to pick Youssef though in this spot.
It's a fantastic matchup. Yeah, it's going to be. I think the first 2 rounds are going to be telling. I think Sheymon has to. For Sheymon to win, he has to weather the initial storm because Sodiq likes to come out and crack, kind of scare the opponent away. Sheymon doesn't scare. He doesn't get flustered. Like you see him when he gets in grappling exchanges, and the look of his face, he's just bored. He's like, right, okay, you're trying to take me down. Okay, I'll get the underhook in. Oh, we're going to break and fight or what? You know, he literally looks bored out of his skull when he's grappling when people are trying to take him down. It's hilarious. It's just weird watching it, but is he going to be counter-striking this fight? 100%. Has he got to be minus B's and Q's? 100%. Like, I'm telling you now, Sodiq is fast. So he hits with such a flurry of speed. It's hard to counter because you don't get a chance to let off. So Sheymon will be letting off at the end of Sodiq's combination, but Sodiq might be gone by then, or he might not get what he wants to land clean. Man, it's going to be tough. I think Sheymon Rice is a very good fighter, but Sodiq he's an unknown entity enough. I think he's still an unknown entity for a lot of fighters. Still early in his career. He's had a few fights outside the UFC, but coming into the UFC still, you know, he's shown part of his potential. I think there's a lot more in Sodiq than we've seen so far, and I think we're going to see more of it, especially in this kind of fight. And I just can't see Sheymon trying to take him down either. And this is where Sheymon, you know, he'll pace himself for the 3 rounds. I wish Sheymon would just do more cardio. I'm interested to see it. Just does my nothing. I'm like, if you did more cardio, you'd have way better 3 rounds and you'd be a terror. But yeah, Sodiq, I think, because the problem is, it's all good being offensive because your cardio is something you control, but Moraes is going to be on defensive, so he can't control that cardio factor. When you're blocking punches, you're not breathing. You know, you're holding it in. You're kind of controlling the. So I think Sodiq's going to tire him out just with the onslaught, the outburst. I'll give Sheymon respect. I'll give him some kudos. I'll give him a decision loss here. But I'm going Sodiq as well, mate. I just think the kid, explosive, quick, and I think he's just going to have that speed factor that's going to catch Sheymon out, and it's just going to wreck Sheymon's kind of pacing, his movement, and it's just not going to. Unless Sheymon can tie him up for a bit. But even then, I don't think it'll make too much of a difference.
Nice. So moving on, this one is one I've not watched on, and I kind of asked you about this a little bit before we come on. It's Paul Craig against Kennedy Nzechukwu, I think it's how you pronounce it. And like I say, I've not did anything. I cannot even think off the top of my head. I know I've watched this Kennedy guy, but I cannot remember off the top of my head at all about his skill set and about his fights. Another one I'm going to check out tomorrow. So I'm not going to make a pick in this as of right now, because I don't think it's fair I really make a pick in a fight I've really not watched anything on. So I'm going to pass it over to John here, and he's going to give you the lowdown on it.
Interesting matchup when it got announced, to be honest with you. And so I went back to have a look. Watched Craig's few fights, so I obviously saw him lost down to Jimmy Crute down in Australia. That was his latest fight, which was really surprising. I think, you know, losing in the manner in which he did, and via submission and stuff like that. Kennedy is very green still. You know, he's still a growing, developing fighter. But one thing he does, I was saying to Will, I was speaking before we were speaking off air, is Kennedy likes to get the fight down. Where Paul would probably favour the fight to be down on the ground. Obviously, Paul would favour to be on top, but I think Kennedy is strong, really strong. He's a big 205er. He's long. He's got kind of, I don't say flat feet, but he's kind of heavy-footed, so he likes to, you know, get in that southpaw stance and pop that left straight. And he's got the fundamentals there for the striking. It's not there yet. He likes to throw a couple of strikes, like kind of Paul Craig, where the striking's still growing, But when Kennedy gets on top, that's where the fight starts to change. Kennedy's grappling. When he gets on top of people, I've obviously not grappled with him, so I don't know how hard this guy hits. But it seems that when he hits you when he's on top of you, it's like you're hitting the earth's hitting your face. It changes people's minds. They don't want to be in there. It seems he's got some really good, strong, powerful grappling, ground and pound. So I think this is one of the factors that's going to come into it, because we've seen with Paul, his chin doesn't hold up well in the striking exchanges, and so when Kennedy goes for the grappling, he just has to be careful of, like, obviously elbows and guillotine attempts from Paul, get it down to the ground. Paul can be taken down. We've seen that a few times, and I think if Kennedy gets on top, man, when he lands a few of those strikes, Paul's going to obviously move, want to get the heck out of there. And that can again open up to submissions. You know, that's what you see a lot. If you ever watch fighting, some guys will throw strikes to make someone move to open up opportunities for submissions. But I'm going to go with Kennedy here. I think he can beat Paul with the ground and pound factor. You know, even though Paul's got experience in the UFC, been under the bright lights, Kennedy's going to be. He was on a Dana White Contender Series, but I think Kennedy can just work Paul to the cage with his footwork, standing, striking bit, and then just get in there and take him down. And once if he gets him down to the ground, just be aggressive on top, not thinking about position, just land that kind of ground and pound. I think Paul's not going to like it, so I'm going to go with Tim. I'm going to go Kennedy here. Good old Tim Kennedy. No, I'm going to go Kennedy here for a second round TKO.
Like I say, it's not anything I've watched. I don't really know. I just kind of like off the top of my head that remember this guy that Paul Craig's fighting. Obviously with Paul, I know what I'm kind of looking for. But the one thing I was thinking about when you were talking there is just like the UFC maybe know what they're doing by feeding these guys, the Dana White guys, to someone like Paul Craig, who's got a UFC wins under his belt, and so on, maybe building other guys off him. So, like I say, I've not really looked into it. It's one I will look into in the next 24 hours. But yeah, moving on, Karolina Kowalkiewicz against the karate hottie Michelle Waterson. How do you see it going?
Fun fight. First and foremost, the pair of those girls are entertainment factors. You know, the pair of them like stand, throw some good striking. They both got great striking qualities, but in different ways. With Karolina Kowalkiewicz, she's got the kind of good kickboxing and karate. As well as she is, Hottie is the karate style. So, Michelle Waterson as well, I think she said, a win here will get me like one fight away from a title fight or something like that, or put me in a title mix. And I was like, I don't think so. Even though I know Karolina Kowalkiewicz has been up there for a while in the title picture, and she lost to Jessica Andrade. She got murked. But let's be brutally honest, people. Jessica Andrade is going to murk a lot of girls at strawweight, so it's no surprise. It's one of them things you almost get a pass when you get murked by Jessica Andrade. People are like, yeah, that's fine. It doesn't matter. That doesn't count. Kind of like people losing to Demetrius Johnson. It doesn't count. Everyone's allowed to lose to him because he's so good. Similar to this. But, you know, when you beat Courtney Casey and Felice Herrig, I don't think you can start sitting there going, I'm in title contention after a win here with Karolina. I think Michelle would need 2 more wins to get even talks again in that title fight contention. I don't think it's going to happen. Karolina's had a break after that knockout, which is good. I like that. She didn't step back in straight away. She had a little bit of time out. On a striking basis, Karolina Kowalkiewicz, she can take a hit. She can take a punch, right? Obviously, minus the last fight. But Michelle Waterson, for me, I think... I look back at the Tisha Torres fight. I think Tisha did great. I think Karolina's going to get the win here. I think she's got good output. And Karolina just keeps coming forward. She's got great output. Constantly, thrown combinations. And I think as long as she can keep coming forward and keep putting the pressure on Michelle, it will just really cause her issues and cause her problems. I think Michelle might try to go for a couple of takedowns in the fight. That's one thing she might want to try and do, try and just get this fight to the ground. But I think Michelle is just going to fall short. I think she's going to lose decision 29-28. But Yeah, I'm going to go 29-28 decision here for Karolina. I think she can just. I think she's just got more kind of aggression with the strikes. I think Michelle will get caught with a few leg kicks as well, and that will slow her down. That'll slow her kind of style down as well. So I'm going to go Karolina, mate. Decision.
Yeah, I think that Michelle's kind of game plan here is going to have to be takedowns.
Yeah.
I think that Karolina's actually she's got a really high percentage takedown defense, so she's not easy to take down. I think when it comes to strikes landed per minute, I think that Karolina lands more. I do think that Michelle is the more accurate striker, but she just doesn't land nowhere near as much as what Karolina does. So I think that she's going to have to try and work in her strikes to get to the clinch, and then try and find takedowns. I just don't think it's going to be easy to get her down. Now, if she gets her down, can she keep her there? Possibly. I think Karolina, this is going to be a 15-minute fight where she just completely outstrikes her and wins the fight through her striking. So yeah, when I was looking at this, I was looking at ways to think, right, can Michelle get it done? I'm just not sold she really can. I think that Karolina's going to, especially after that last loss, she's going to want to try and fight smart, not get caught with anything too crazy, and just kind of outpoint her and outwork her, and I think she'll do that here. So Karolina Kowalkiewicz for the win there for me. This is an interesting fight. Josh Emmett, Michael Johnson. Initially, when I was in this, I was on Josh Emmett a couple of weeks back, and we all know what Josh is coming back from. He could be coming back. This gets bandied around a lot. Life-changing knockouts, and let's be honest, that knockout last year, that was over a year ago. So he's taken a good amount of time off. He had to have surgery on his facial injuries that he received in that fight with Jeremy Stephens. He took the right amount of time off, but I think that can be classed as a life-changing knockout, because that was a big knockout, like a dangerous knockout that can change your whole career around. And Michael Johnson, I think, is a guy that is very fast, puts his combinations together very well, fought far better caliber opposition in my opinion, beat good opposition, I know at a higher weight class, seems to have really found his feet at 145, even though he missed weight against Artem last time. I thought he completely outgunned Artem, and that was kind of expected, to be honest. It was a little bit weird matchmaking, especially after his win over Enrique, who beat Artem, I think, before that. So it was just a little bit weird. When Michael Johnson turns up, he turns up. The one thing I'm kind of looking at here is he going to be? Is Josh Emmett going to be? What's the word I'm looking for? Tepid. Like, is he going to come out here? Is he going to push the pace? Or is it going to be maybe a little bit? I don't want to say he's going to be scared to engage, but is he going to want to lead the dance? Is he going to want to look for takedowns or so? Because we've seen that if you can get. Now I'm kind of going off the Khabib fight here, and Khabib's the best guy for that.
But I know what you mean.
Yeah. Is he going to look for takedowns? Because I think from what I hear of what I've seen in the past, Josh Emmett's a wrestler by trade. Yeah. But I don't know what his levels are regarding his wrestling, his grappling. MJ comes from a wrestling background as well, but he's a guy that's kind of fell in love with his hands, and you can see why, because he's got very fast hands, he's got power, he can hurt people as well. I loved going back and watching the Gaethje fight. It helps when you've got two guys in the same card watching that fight back. So I see this being close. Initially I was on Josh Emmett, but I think I've kind of changed my tune over the last few days and watching fights, and I'm actually going to go Michael Johnson via close split. But what I like for Josh Emmett here is the fact that that he's had people in Team Alpha Male that have faced this guy, so that he can help him out there. So MJ, close split decision. Not super confident, but I'm going to pick him in this spot here.
This is a 50-50 call, this one. It is, isn't it, mate? It's it's such a tough one, because Emmett was a wrestler for like 14 years, mate. Like pretty much high school, college, the lot. And like you say, another one falls in love with the hands, and you just like, look, don't do it, Johnny Hendricks and all that stuff. Like, just sometimes your bread and butter is what's going to need to be used to win your fights. And I know, like I said, bro, Khabib is the king of the grappling, but Josh Emmett's a good grappler, man. He has shown good aspects of the grappling out, and he's a thick set dude at 145. That dude's big. 34, 35 is he now, something like that. Got to remember, he took time off before this knockout for the surgery on his thumb, whatever it was. Was it his thumb or his finger?
I know all I remember is that Josh Emmett's missed weight before, hasn't he? But he's got some massive power. I keep forgetting to mention that Ricardo Lamas fight.
Yeah.
God, yeah.
So it's a tough one because, both parties need to make weight.
Yeah.
Josh Emmett's, he's missed. He's had a couple of, surgeries or, injuries and stuff like that. He needs to. Gosh, man, it's a hard one. I am so going back and forth on this, no matter how many times. And then when you break it down as well, when I hear an independent kind of view as well, it's horrible. Still, it doesn't help because I still like both. Because I think, gosh, Johnson's going to land. Johnson, he always lands. He's so quick with his hands. He lands. What happens if he lands that crisp 1-2 that he did on Emmett? What happens? What happens? Does Emmett just crumble? How does his chin handle it? Man. Right, because I can't pick. My head's telling me be smart. Emmett, takedowns, wrestle, just out-grapple. But I'm going to go wild. I'm going to go first round knockout, Michael Johnson.
Oh, wow.
Because I'm so torn on it. In my head, I'm thinking Emmett's going to get a decision, but I'm going to go a bit crazy, and I'm going to go Johnson, first round KO.
Well, that'll be a blast there if that came through. Jeez. Well, like I say, I went back to MJ, but like I say, the initial gut feeling was Josh Emmett. So
yeah, it's hard, man. I'll probably change my mind.
Yeah, that could happen. Co-main event, sorry, I should say. David Branch against the Joker, Jack Hermansson. Good fight, actually. Go ahead.
A cracking fight, innit? Absolute cracking fight. And Jack Hermansson getting, another stab at those kind of top guys. Man, Jack Hermansson, he's shown he's tough as coffin nails. Pushes through the pain barrier to get wins. Somehow just growing and evolving and just quietly doing the things that he does in the middleweight division. David Branch, though, was a guy that people need to look at. Because David Branch, renowned in the martial arts world, been around for quite a while. 37 now, so you got to take that in consideration. Is a factor. He lost his last one via TKO, or knockout, however you want to call it, against Gerald. The Cannon, is the best way to put it, who looked absolutely stellar in that fight. Lost also to Rockhold via stoppage. So he beat, though, Thiago Santos. How mental is that? Everyone was like, yeah, Branch he's getting smoked, and then stopped Santos, which was mental. But he's beat Jotko and Santos. So he's 2-2. He's not doing too bad in his return. But, man, it's hard to look past Jack Hermansson. I know Branch has got legit grappling ground, BJJ, really good BJJ. He's not bad at striking at all. But Jack, younger, hungrier, savage, just that Talis Laters fight was a big one. That was a huge. I know he beat Gerald Meerschaert, but that was a huge one because he obviously lost to Thiago Santos, and then he came back in this way against Talis Laters. I thought that was a good one. And Talis Laters' ground grappling is legit. Yeah. People need to. I know David Branch is really good on the ground, but Talis Laters, he is like the. Him and Damian Maia and all those guys, they're like high-end level guys on the ground with grappling, submission, and Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. So I think we'll see Talis Laters doing some grappling comps, probably like as like a guest, like a famous name and stuff. But, I'm going Jack Hermansson. I think that he will, on the feet, he'll land the better strikes. It won't go. I'd be surprised if it gets to the ground. I think Jack would want to keep it standing. Branch will want to take it to the ground. Branch will want to be on top, but I don't think it'll get to there. I think Jack's going to just cause Branch nightmares. I think Jack's going to stop David Branch. I'm going to put Jack Hermansson to stop him second round, if not earlier. But man, I'm going Jack Hermansson on this one, definitely.
Yeah, that Thales Leites fight, he busted his rib in that fight as well.
Yeah, that was what it was, his rib. For some reason I thought it was his leg, but it was his rib. Yeah. There you go. So, and that's the worst. It's horrendous.
Yeah, and like he was on his way to, I think he lost the second, and then he came in out of the third, and he managed to find a way to finish that fight. Now, the one thing about Jack Hermansson is his ground and pound and his top game is legendary, especially ground and pound. Oof. His punching power from short shots is crazy. But on this one here, I'm like, I think he pushes a pace on David Branch. Now, David Branch is a guy with a shit ton of experience from his UFC run, from his World Series of Fight run where he won championships there. And he managed to get back to the UFC again. And like you said, he's went 2-2. Solid fighter. I just think that I think Jack's got some next level like striking. I really do. I think he's got some not striking. His ground and pound is something serious, and I just think that's really going to kind of play into this fight somewhere. I think he keeps a torrid pace on the feet. I think that he's just a little bit better. But in saying that, I called David Branch to beat Santos. I didn't expect him to knock him out in the first round. No, 2 minutes into the first round, no danger that I see that coming. And he went out there and got a beautiful finish. The way I'm looking at this here is, I think if Jack can beat him up in the feet, I think that David Branch is going to look for takedowns and he's going to get reversed. And then once he gets that top position with that ground and pound, he's going to catch him and knock him out. So I'm going to go Jack Hermansson to win via a knockout in the second round there. So yeah. And holy shitballs, Edson Barboza, Justin Gaethje. Said to John when I came on here, it's like, how do you see this main event going? And he told me who he's going with, and I went with what I'm going with. But like, honestly, this fight is such, like, you could sit there and you could watch and you could talk about this fight, and you could come up with so many different theories of the way this fight's going to go. And I don't think there's no way you can be confident in picking either guy here. There's no way, like, there's just no way for the amount of fights that I've watched over the last kind of couple of years or whatever. It's just hard to like, oh, this is how this fight's going to go, because I have not got the slightest effing clue how this fight's going to go. And it was absolutely awesome to go back and watch fights in these guys.
It was,
like, serious, like it's like, I can't remember who said it. It was like, once you look at the matchmaking board and you see Barboza and you see Gaethje, it's just an instant you put it together. Yeah. And it is a crazy, crazy fight. We'll go back after the last fights. Gaethje absolutely starched James Vick. James Vick was talking all that shit in the run-up to that fight, saying you're the Homer Simpson MMA and go back to the C League and this and that, and he got absolutely shit whipped in the first minute and a half. And that can happen with Justin Gaethje.
I think James Vick, mate, is a guy who should be 170.
Yeah, 100%. 100% now. I think that losing to Felder, just don't kill yourself with that weight cut anymore, because it must be horrendous for him. So
he looks like death. I think he'd be way better 170.
Yeah, 100%. And then Barboza, you watch that fight with Dan Hooker. I mean, I bet Edson Barboza, a lot of people were writing him off, and I was like, why are you, like, Barboza is good, and he can knock you out with anything. He established those leg kicks, and if he does that, you're goosed. You are absolutely goosed. Thing with that, Gaethje's got some unbelievable leg kicks himself, but I just don't think he's going to want to throw them in this fight, because I think he's going to leave himself open to maybe a counter leg kick or a body kick. And the one fight I took a lot away from was the Eddie Alvarez fight, who was an ex-teammate of Edson Barboza. And Gaethje started that fight very, very well, was establishing leg kicks. But then Eddie Alvarez really started to slow him down with body punches.
Yeah.
Now, Barboza throws body punches, but that's not what you should be looking for with Barboza. It's his kicks, because that guy, he's unbelievable to watch with his kicks. Like there's no telegraphing it. It just comes straight up, hits you, hurts you, and that's it. And like I put out a tweet today. I was like, I genuinely felt sorry for Dan Hooker watching that fight back today, because the ref didn't save him. Wasn't looking out for him. I thought his team. Now I know different teams are different things, and he might say, "Look, don't you take me out." This, that. But he was the end of round 2. I was like,
when they didn't even bring the stool, and
yeah,
he
they didn't bring
sit on the floor,
slump on the floor, and I'm like, dude, just like, no, it's live to fight another day.
It was in autopilot. His body literally just went autopilot and just would not stop coming forward.
Yeah, and that's what it. He was taking like those spinning body kicks.
Yes, two or three of them.
Grimacing, and then just walking forward and taking more. That's when that towel should have come in. That's not looking after your fighter, in my opinion. But like I say, different teams see different things. But Edson Barboza, if you push the pace on him, there is openings in that guy. As much as he's dangerous, and his power never leaves him, because his technique is so clean, especially with his kicking game, that any kick he hits you with can end your night, whether it be leg kicks, body kicks, high kicks. He's the most dangerous guy, I think, with his kicks in the sport. But like I say, he does leave openings, and even in the Dan Hooker fight, he was taking some shots when he was getting gassed. He was leaving his hands a little low. He was getting hit with some shots. And Gaethje is a machine. He's an absolute fucking machine. He doesn't stop. He comes forward. He doesn't care if he gets knocked out or hurt. He just wants to come in there and put on a fight. He's not going to grapple. I've said this before. He should grapple. Because he's got advantages there, but he doesn't use it. So, honestly, I've struggled with this one.
Yeah.
I'm going to sit back and watch as a fan. It's going to be violent. It's going to be entertaining. I think it's going to be like the last 2 weeks we've had with Till and with Wonderboy getting knocked out viciously. I think this is going to end viciously. So there's going to be another highlight reel for one of these guys, knockout finish for one of these guys. But I just see the output of Edson and the big power shots really starting to as the fight goes into the second round, start to wear on Justin Gaethje. I think Gaethje, if he wants to get him out, has to try and just go for him in the first round, actually. But in saying that, the way that guy keeps a pace...
It's a 5-round fight.
Yeah, the way the guy keeps a pace, that he could come in there in the second round and completely take out Edson Barboza. But like I say, Gaethje gets tired as well, because he takes like a shit ton of damage. Alvarez was... Like, that Alvarez fight's crazy, because I always forget about the massive lump in the side of Alvarez's face, and then him getting stopped in the last minute or so in that third round. I'm going to go Edson Barboza. This fight, in my opinion, should be a complete pick'em. I don't see any way you can bet this fight, honestly, not unless you've got under 4.5 or 3.5 rounds or something.
Or the fight ends in a stoppage, like a knockout.
Yeah, because I doubt it finishes in submission. I don't think it gets to the ground and that happens.
Flying triangle, Edson Barboza.
Sit back and enjoy the unadulterated violence that this is going to be. I'm going to pick Edson Barboza. I'm a big fan of Edson Barboza. You cannot be a fan of like Justin Gaethje, because the guy's just a machine. I'm going to go Edson via knockout in the second round. I think those body shots are going to crumple him, and he'll finish Justin there. So yeah.
Beautiful. Honestly, I've imagined how Gaethje has been preparing for this fight. Have you seen the film The Accountant with Ben Affleck?
I've not.
Mate,
no.
There's this, right, you've got to watch it. There's a scene, and and it's part of what he has. It's part of something he does, like, and he puts this heavy metal music on, really loud, bites down on a belt, and gets a rolling pin and rolls it up and down his shins. Rolls it up and down his shins, and then smashes the shin with the rolling pin. Just keeps hitting it, and until it breaks the rolling pin. That's how I imagine Gaethje is preparing for this fight. He is beating his legs to condition them, because he knows what's coming. It's going to be hell. It's going to be hell. There's going to be an ice bath in the back ready for his legs when he gets over this. All right. I think Edson's got titanium plates in his shins, mate. Absolutely mental. Honestly, ridiculous. He's got no nerve endings from his knees down.
It's his telegraph. He doesn't telegraph. They come up.
Oh no,
quick. It's not even funny how quick they come up.
And it's the noise it makes when they connect.
Yeah.
Because what's so hilarious though, when you watch Edson, he will fake a kick, so he'll do a shimmy with the hips, and you're like, dude, you don't need to do fakes because no one's going to block him anyway. Yeah. They don't see them coming.
Yeah.
All right. So you don't need that. You don't need to, remember how because the Ultimate Cheetah used to do it with his little fake. He'd do like the little shimmy with the hips and the shoulders, and I can't. I'm like, Edson, you do it too quick when you actually do it. Slowing it down actually lets people know that you're doing a fake. They know that you're doing a fake. They're not going to twitch to it, mate. All right? Everyone accepts they're going to get kicked by you. Yeah, if Gaethje was to wrestle, he could win this fight. But Gaethje isn't smart enough to do that. Gaethje's been hit in the head too many times. That's the problem. Yeah, and he's been brought in and he said, like, you know, who knows how many more fights he's going to have left in him because he's getting absolutely... Every fight he's having, apart from the big fight, it's just a war. It's a war. And your body can't do that. But that being said, like look at the Hooker fight. Hooker took an absolute pasting in the second and third. But in the first round, it was back and forth between the pair of them. Hooker was landing some good, legit shots. Just as much as Edson was, you know. And if Gaethje can do it and just toughen it up like he says he can, drown Barboza, walk forward, throw the shots, and don't stop that pressure. Because Barboza's great when he's got that range of the leg kicks, but as soon as you close it down to a boxing range, Barboza likes to throw a couple of punches to get out and then get that distance again. But as we've seen with Gaethje, he likes to just keep coming, keep plowing forward, keep going forward, and just keep that pressure on. You pick Barboza. I'm going the other way with Gaethje. I think I'm going to go with Gaethje. Trust me, it pained me to say that out loud, that the terrorist little boy is going to win. But I'm going to go with Gaethje. I think, because it's a five-round fight, it's something that plays in my head, I think. Barboza's got to go for it before the end of 3. Barboza hasn't got 3 rounds of that. He has not got the 3 rounds. Gaethje, on the other hand, he can go to hell and back for 5 rounds. His body will just somehow go to autopilot. And I think he can just wear Barboza down. Just keep it tight, get the clinch work, just punch and kick and knees. I think the pair of these dudes are going to look like they've had an allergic reaction to something and their faces are going to be blown up because of all the punches and swollen, bruising and just bloodiness. I'll go with Gaethje. I'm going to go late stoppage Gaethje, but I wouldn't be surprised if he gets a decision. But, man, it's going to be ridiculously fun to watch. Like, this fight is pure violence. This could be a potential fight of the year contender already, and it's not even finished. It's not even started.
Yeah.
But, yeah, going Gaethje, but, man, it's going to be insane.
It's the thing is, as well, you can never count any of these guys at any point in the fight because I always think of the Kevin Lee fight. Kevin Lee, like, he was in control of that Barboza fight, and Barboza caught him with a spinning kick that absolutely nearly took Kevin Lee out of this world. So, but I'm just looking at some stats here, and like, I'm not the biggest stat guy, but Justin Gaethje strikes landed per minute 8.53.
Disgusting high, that, isn't it?
Strikes absorbed per minute 10.54, which is crazy to me. But he's got some fairly decent striking accuracy as well. So, yeah, it's a great fight. Like I say, it's one to sit back and watch. I'm thoroughly looking forward to it. Like the fact, I think the main event, the main event will be on around about 2:30 in the morning, which is nice.
It's nice. It's like this weekend gone. I know Nashville. I didn't stay up for Nashville card because I was like, nah.
Yeah.
But this one is one I would want to stay up for. Yeah,
it's that fight alone is crazy. So. That's our picks for UFC Philadelphia. I have one bet for the Philly card. Jack Hermansson, -125. In America, he opened +120.
Ooh.
He was an underdog, and we never got that because the books are so slow over here, which sucks. But there is some spots I think, to look at in this card. I think it's got some tough spots as well. You need to watch what you're doing. I think there's a couple of parlays that I like. Sabine Mazo might be one that I put in there. There is who was the other guy I actually really liked? Kevin Holland, but I think he's quite a high price now. Sodiq Youssef, but I'm giving my rise in that spot. Marina Rodriguez, I just seen the line just come out in America. She's minus 335, so that's a no go.
Oh my gosh, that's disgusting. Jeez Louise.
I'm going to let these lines kind of marinate over the next few days, and hopefully they turn around a little bit. Maybe Kevin Aguilar, but then again, it's fading Barzola. So it's
a hard
like,
one, isn't it?
it's
Dodgy, that, isn't it?
Pick your spots. Maybe Michael Johnson. That line's going to be close to a pick, and I think majority of the week it's going to go back and forward between him being a favourite and him being an underdog. So, like I say, I think I need to get back when I'm picking underdogs to actually betting them. Last night I picked Steven Pearson. That was a bad one actually because Luis Pena just kind of beat him up when I should have picked Randa Marcos. But yeah, one bet so far. We're only coming in early Monday morning here, so still plenty of time for that to change. But I think that's us. We've actually got a break for once, for maybe the first year. Because then we're back with UFC 236
with our special guest.
Yeah, against Dustin Poirier, Kelvin Gastelum, Andre Adesanya. Israel Adesanya, I don't know why Andre Adesanya.
It's the interim pay-per-view card.
Yeah, the interim pay-per-view card, which is funny, and they've changed the whole pay-per-view thing, haven't they? The UFC, so
for the people in the States, yeah, it's weird, but they're making it sound like it's a deal. They're like, oh, you don't have to pay $60 if you've got ESPN Plus, but you have to pay for ESPN Plus.
Exactly.
So how did that's not a deal. There's no deal there. You're just trying to make it sound better, but it's not. But then again, what's even worse for folk in the US is then you have to have ESPN Plus because you won't be able to watch cards of recent fights because the blackout thing is 90 days or whatever.
Yeah.
So we're lucky, we're good. We get it, boom, pretty much instant. One thing we don't get instant is obviously the pay-per-views, but we're not. We'll just go to maybe some other illicit sites if needed or required. But yeah, man, crazy decision now.
Yeah, like I say, UFC 236 is going to be a good card. I think we might as well come out and say who our guest is going to be. It's going to be Dan Levy, half the battle, best fight picks. He is a guy that once we heard this card was going down in Georgia, Atlanta, his hometown, there was no other guy we wanted to come on. He was 100% down for it. He sent a message our way saying, look, I want to come on and speak at this. It's in my hometown. I want to speak about this card, and it was only right to have him on there. So Mr. Daniel Levy is going to be joining us for that 236 breakdown. Until then, like, comment, subscribe, tell me your bets, tell us your bets, I should say. Any questions you have, maybe for that 236 card you want to send to me, John, or Dan, just send them in. You can follow us on a whole host of social media sites with Twitter and Instagram and Facebook. We're on iTunes, you name it, we're on it everywhere pretty much. So go subscribe to them. Subscribe on YouTube. We've still got goals for the year there. Until next time, we appreciate the support, and we'll be back for UFC 236 and enjoy the violence with Barboza and Gaethje because it's going to be epic.